Inflammation in the gut, it affects our mood and the entire body. So most depression, it settles on people. And how many times you've heard, people say, I'm so depressed, I have a really good life, but don't know where this is coming from. And it could be coming from the digestive system. So once you heal your gut and inflammation, then a lot of our clients also told us that they weren't feeling depressed as much anymore because they healed their body. So client shared with us that her eczema on the face has already improved and skin has cleared up, and she is not very sensitive and itching like before, and as well as pain in the fingers have reduced a lot and feeling more energy. Another client has shared with us that her stomach is better, headaches are gone, and sleep is better, and she's having more energy. Another client has shared with us that she's having normal bowel movements, and she used to have accidents with her digestion before. And let's see. And another client has shared with us that I've seen his lab work has already improved. So that's really good to see when lab work is already improving so fast in the program.
I just want to say that I've noticed my hands, they've had eczema on them for years and it has gotten better. And then I did have like a lot of cracks on the bottom of my feet. And that's like within the past 2 to 3 days, that's been like clearing up and getting better and better.
Okay, thank you so much, Violet, for sharing. And also, I did respond to your email today.
Yes.
Please check it. And if anybody has any questions, like always, we do get back to your email. Make sure that you look for it if you don't see it. Every week, we do teach different classes in the program, and we do email you replay. So make sure that you check those replays that I email to you once a week in case if you miss any classes, because we do put the topic of the class. And if you feel like you didn't watch that class yet or you missed it, you can watch the replay. That's why one thing I wanted to talk about is in any complex natural system, including our bodies, we can't just do one thing when it comes to healing. And especially in medicine, the doctors, they do treat a lot of symptoms and they give people a lot of medicine to try to address the symptom. But at the end, they start getting side effects and health problems because they're just treating one thing. So for example, if the child has ear infection, they give them antibiotics and the doctor thinks that he's doing the right thing. But when you take antibiotics, you're also killing off the beneficial bacteria in the gut, which allows pathogenic organism to overgrow and invade the gut lining and allow food molecules to leak out into the bloodstream and flow into the tissues and set off adverse reactions. So that's where we can't just do one thing when it comes to our health. We can't just take medicine and think that's enough. So unless you really know, especially when it comes to infections, that you do have a bacterial infection which responds to antibiotics, then you really have to be careful about taking that because it does destroy your bacteria and creates all health problems long term. So modern life, it's really an assault on healthy organisms in our gut. But now people take antibiotics that kills off the bacteria and it leaves out all this resistant bacteria. And you basically, when you take antibiotics, you kill off the competition. And what happens is people start feeding the bad bacteria in the body with sugar, as you can see, coffee, which also destroys the good bacteria in the gut, chlorinated water, soft drinks with phosphoric acid, alcohol, and again, antibiotics. So if you I know some clients, they were still drinking Coca-Cola before they came to us in the program. And in fact, the recent client we worked with, Jared, who had long haul COVID and gastritis, and he wasn't able to heal his gastritis for over a year. And I think it was like 80% of his symptoms were gone in a program, but he was still drinking Coca-Cola before he came to us for help. And if you don't know, 5.5 teaspoon of sugar is found in 8 ounces of cola. And so imagine people are drinking 2 gallons of soft drinks out there. So they're killing our good bacteria and they feed up the bad microbes. And then people get shocked afterwards how they're feeling or what are the health problems they're dealing with. And you can see Nutella, as you know, it was really popular when it came out. It's still popular. It's mostly made with sugar, skim milk, and palm oil. There's really nothing good or healthy about Nutella. But the good thing is, if you want to eat Nutella, they actually made they made new Nutella alternative, which is basically made with hazelnuts, cacao powder, and I think what else did they put in there? But basically, there's no sugar, there's no oil, but it's actually blended hazelnuts and with cacao powder. So it's like a homemade Nutella without all the milk and sugar and palm oil in it. And I can share it with you if you want to look for long term. If you want to have like Nutella, what is the natural alternative that's just made with nuts and cacao powder, and I don't think they add any oil. So this is basically homemade Nutella, which you can even make yourself, but you can also buy it from the store that they sell nowadays, but it wasn't available 10 years ago. But unfortunately, people are still eating Nutella because they're not aware of healthier alternative options. They don't have all these processed ingredients. So basically, the small intestine gets overgrown with candida yeast because of the sugar. It comes down to fat and sugar that people are eating. And then these live organisms, they burn to the wall of the intestine, and they injure the wall of the intestine, causing problems. So this is what some people's intestine looks like. It's overgrown with yeast, and of course, it's not a pretty picture, but again, we need a gut to absorb the nutrients from a body. And when you have all the yeast taking up all the space, that's what leads to all the dysbiosis. So the condition that we have created is unhealthy balance of bacteria and yeast in our intestine. So this is what it's called, dysbiosis life. So basically bad life. And why is this important is because we always talk about the leaky gut syndrome, because everything starts in our gut. Everything that we eat, it goes through our gut and then into our blood vessels, and then stimulates the immune system. So on the left, we have the normal living of our intestine. So we have the wall and we have the bloodstream down here. And the job of the intestine is to absorb nutrients from your food stream, which is on top here, and bring them into your bloodstream. And our intestine does a good job of that. But there's a lot of things in the food stream that are going by that you do not want in your bloodstream, such as undigested food proteins, fragments of wheat, gluten, whatever you're eating, and healthy intestinal wall will not allow these molecules to enter into the bloodstream. But if you kill off the good bacteria and you spawn a whole bunch of pathogenic organisms in the gut, the bad bacteria, and what they do is they will get into the wall of the intestine and they will start injuring the intestine. And they will put out acids to injure the gut, and you will create molecular spaces that open up between the cells, and big molecules that start leaking through into the bloodstream. And this is what's called leaky gut. The things that are not supposed to be there start leaking in and triggering our immune system, and inflammation, malabsorption of nutrients, and things like that. So in this program, we do heal your gut with nutrition, because you stop eating foods that trigger the inflammation, but you also give your body enough food and nutrients to repair the inflammation, including your gut lining. And this is how a lot of clients who are sensitive to food, their sensitivities and allergies even go away, because you're no longer triggering your immune system. So these molecules, basically, that are not supposed to be in the bloodstream, now flow through your tissues all over the body, and they stir up some kind of mischief there. And it starts off as arthritis in some people, colitis in others. And that's why a lot of people are wondering, why are my joints hurting, right? Probably coming from the gut, and a lot of other autoimmune diseases are connected with this. So, and that's why you see in a lot of commercials or ads, they create all these probiotics, prebiotics drinks, take all the supplements, but the nutrition is still very important, even if people take a lot of supplements to heal their gut. But if your diet is inflammatory, it basically removes all the benefit that the supplement may be doing. So that's why changing your diet is also very important to healing your body. So that's how it starts off. It basically, another point is it sets off issues, inflammation in the membranes that also you start secreting histamine, and it can make asthma worse, and it can go through your skin and affects through everything in the body. And a lot of diseases of unknown origin are coming from stuff that's leaking out in the intestinal tract. And how do you know that you have leaky gut? Everybody says, I have leaky gut. No wonder, I have all the symptoms. So you can actually do a test for leaky gut. It's called intestinal permeability test. Intestinal permeability test, basically what it is, if you drink a solution that has 2 sugars in it, mannitol shows up in the urine, and lactulose should not show up in the urine. It's not observable sugar. And if any lactulose shows up in your urine, it means you have leaky gut. So you can do the test to find out, but again, it's not necessary because we do heal your gut in this program. Whether you have the leaky gut or not, you don't have to find out because you're going to heal it in this program. Probiotics means pro means 4 and biosis means life. And these are the beneficial bacteria, including yeast, plus some nutrients and cofactors for growth, for bacterial growth. And so here's some organisms you want to see in the probiotic label. So for example, you want to see Lactobacillus plantarum. It has been shown in literature to be stabilizing and anti-inflammatory. And it's one of the real good bacteria, especially if you have inflammation going on in your gut. And then there's also other type of bacteria form, Lactobacillus rhamnosus. It detoxifies molecules that promote cancer. So you want to have a good population of this bacteria down there if you have a history of cancer, but also change your diet so you can prevent cancer. And then there's other bacteria. Casey has been shown to restore normal mucosal architecture. And then this one, as well as acidophilus. This is a common one you see in a lot of probiotic supplements. It basically helps general GI support, especially, and also UTIs and IBS. So irritable bowel syndrome, it's not considered a disease. Basically, the bowels are irritable because what causes the bowels to become irritable? Because oftentimes when a person is eating, it irritates the gut. So our bowels, they do speak very clearly, and every patient who comes to us for help when they do have IBS or even IBD, crohns or colitis, we're able to help them improve their gut function. And like I said, we also have cases of people who had a lot of bloody stools and diarrhea that were able to normalize just 30 days in this program. So we're looking at microbes. Can it influence what's happening in a gut? So this is known as gut-brain axis. So the ability of the brain to influence a gut and a gut to influence it back. So eating behavior is manipulated by the bacteria in a gut. So if you eat sugar all day, you will summon up sugar-eating bacteria. And these organisms, they put up the waste products into the bloodstream and they circulate into our brain. And that's how it affects us through the bloodstream. And this is the reason why some people, especially by week 2, when they change their diet, they start really having a lot of cravings. And one of the reasons for that is the bad bacteria is dying off. And when the bacteria that was feeding up on sugar or processed foods or inflammatory foods, it starts dying off, it's not going to die off without trying to manipulate you and make you want to eat the food that's feeding it. So there is really a true connection between a gut and a brain. And this is the reason a lot of clients can feel a lot of cravings because the bad bacteria is dying off. Okay, but also our brain likes to keep us in the same spot because it's safe. So these things happen because it's very common, basically. And in the intestinal wall, there's a nerve ending of the vagus nerve that go up to the brain and then the gut wall. So the waste products of these organisms, they basically permeate into deeper layers with vagus nerving zone. They go up to the brain. So when you dissect the vagus nerve, 20% of the vagus nerve fibers send instructions from the brain to the stomach and your lower intestinal tract. And these signals control digestive enzymes, blood glucose, stomach acid secretion, and how rapid your gut is moving. So your mind certainly changes your gut bacteria. And 80% of this vagus nerve go the other direction. They take message from the gut and up the brain, and it determines whether you're hungry or not, or how full you feel. And the bacteria, they do talk to us, and they make us crave things. Like I said earlier, they're telling us what to do. So this is bidirectional. So it goes from the gut to the brain and from brain to the gut. And you can see how all of this can be affected, why healing your gut is so important. So inflammation in the gut, it affects our mood and our entire body. So most depression, it settles on people. And how many times you've heard, people say, I'm so depressed, I have a really good life, but don't know where this is coming from. And it could be coming from the digestive system. So once you heal your gut and inflammation, then a lot of our clients also told us that they weren't feeling depressed as much anymore because they healed their body. So again, all of this, it's a food. And it's been food all along. To tell to someone what it takes to be successful in a program.
I would say, like what it takes to be successful is if you didn't try 1,000 different things and like none of them's working, you find one good thing. It may seem impossible at first, but if you go along with it and trust, it would definitely work out.
What inspired you to join this program? You've tried so many different things.
What inspired me to do it was the fact that I did try so many things, and like I felt like I was making almost like zero progress.
What do you feel like that was the most helpful to you?
I definitely enjoyed the classes. Overall, the fact that like I had, direct access to y'all.
Tried everything. So I knew at the beginning that I wanted to try to avoid medications if possible. So my doctor at first put me on a paleo diet, which helped a little bit. I think getting rid of the dairy helped my skin a lot because I had chronic eczema. So when I cut out dairy, it cleared my skin, but that was really the only symptom that the paleo diet took away. But other than that, I've tried so many different supplements, probably on like 6 or 7 different supplements, spending hundreds of dollars every month, and none of them made a difference at all. So I knew that nutrition played a part in it, even though doctors a lot of times don't say it does, but I could feel that it did. I just didn't know exactly what worked best for my body. So I tried my best doing my own research, but when that didn't work, I kept researching and found you guys online and all the positivity and thought I tried everything else. I still want to try to avoid the scary medication. There's nothing to lose. That's when I just jumped fully in.
I really learned a lot from this program about foods and our body that I had no idea about it before I got gastritis and got sick. And first COVID, I think that was the start of it because I had to take all kinds of medicine and antibiotics when I got COVID. And then after COVID, I got the H. pylori and I had to take more antibiotics within 3 months range from having COVID and H. pylori. And then the gastritis came on right after that.
So after 2 weeks on the protocol, I was completely off my medication, gave me control of my life back. And you can't put a price on that. You ladies were such a delight to work with. Thank you both for that you offer this and that you're available, and that you both have put in so much work into making this plan work for people and being such great coaches. And I couldn't recommend you highly enough. I mean, what the program that you have, it will work for you.
When I started the program, I was very discomfort with my colon. I have burning colon. I had also gastritis and pain the mouth of my stomach. Yeah, those were my symptoms pretty much. And my stomach, stomach was okay. I mean, I was going to the bathroom pretty much regularly. The good thing right now is that I'm regular. Like almost every day I'm going to the bathroom. Mostly every day. I miss it like in 10 days probably I'll miss once. But sometimes I go twice. So I think it's really good. In regards of the gastritis that I had, I'm not taking any medicines. And actually the pain, I don't have pain